Simon, the day has finally come where we get to say I do. I promise you I will always put you and my family first, and to be the best wife and mother you ever hoped for. Thank you for loving me the way you do, for giving me the most precious gift that I ever could wish for, our whirlwind, Orla. For being my rock and supporting me in every way you do. For making me laugh, being my best friend, and for taking everything in your stride, even when I'm freaking out. Thank you, Simon, for making life so much fun, and I will be so proud to be able to call you my husband. I love you, Simon, and I do, today, tomorrow, and always, Tan. Oh, that's cute, man. I love that.
Oh, to my Tanyia, my best friend, lover and soon-to-be wife, my everything. Today is another amazing chapter in our little book of love, a never-ending love story. You are truly amazing in everything you do. Words singly don't capture everything. I feel for you. Simply your name is engraved on my heart now and forever. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for giving me Orla. Thank you for being a mother to my son. Lastly, thank you for being you. You're amazing in every way and I love you. That way I say I do. Oh, that's gorgeous.
We'd all like to please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very, very warm welcome to you all here on this beautiful sunny Saturday afternoon here at the Polo Club. We're all going to witness Simon and Tanya's wedding. And my name is Sharon and I'm the Deputy Superintendent Registrar for Richmond upon Thames, and it is my very great pleasure and privilege to be able to conduct the marriage ceremony for Tanyia and Simon this afternoon. I would like to introduce my colleague Abby, who is the Registrar, and without whom the marriage today could not be validated. And Abby is here to record the details of the wedding in the marriage register and prepare our bride and groom's marriage certificates.
Mummy!
Oh. Mummy and
Daddy?
She doesn't stop.
Daddy?
lots of interesting things going on when you're two, isn't there? Now I do have to tell you that the place in which we are now met has been duly sanctioned according to the law for the celebration of marriages. And we're all gathered here this afternoon to witness the joining in marriage of Simon and Tanyia, who would like to thank you all for being here to support them this afternoon. I know it means a very great deal to them both that you, their family and friends, are able to share in their happiness and witness their marriage vows on this very special occasion, their wedding day. And the civil ceremony is legally binding and of great importance and significance to the two people before us. And today, Tanyia and Simon will make declarations and vows which will unite them in marriage, with words that are a pledge of their love and a promise of their commitment to one another. However, before Simon and Tanyia can be joined in marriage, I do have to ask that if any person here present knows of any lawful impediment to this marriage, then they should declare it now. The under fives don't count, so they're okay. So Simon and Tanyia, before you are joined in matrimony, I have to remind you of the solemn and binding character of the vows you are both about to make. And marriage in this country is the union of two people voluntarily entered into for life and to the exclusion of all others. And most importantly, it is being able to spend your lives with your very best friend. And when two people do love and care for one another in a marriage, they create a bond unique to themselves, which binds them closer than any spoken or written words. It is contentment, joy, laughter, believing in each other, and supporting hopes and dreams. It is a promise made in the hearts of two people, which takes a lifetime to fulfill. Now I'm now going to ask you each in turn to make a legal declaration stating that you are free lawfully to be married to one another. So Simon, if you are free lawfully to be married to Tanyia, will you please state your declaration by repeating after me?
No.
No. I declare that I know
I declare that I know
of no legal reason
no legal reason
why I, Simon John Withers,
I, Simon John Withers,
may not be joined in marriage
may not be joined in marriage
to Tanyia Condamiti.
to Tanyia Condamiti.
Thank you very much. And Tanyia, if you are free lawfully to be married to Simon, will you please state your declaration by repeating after me? I declare that I know
I declare that I know
of no legal reason
of no legal reason
why I, Tanyia Condamiti,
why I, Tanyia Condamiti,
may not be joined in marriage
may not be joined in marriage
to Simon John Withers.
to Simon John Withers.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you've just heard, Simon and Tanyia have declared that they are indeed free lawfully to be married to one another, and they will now contract their marriage before you. And as this is quite an important part of the ceremony for us this afternoon, I would like to invite you all to please stand and share these very special moments.
Mommy.
So Simon and Tanyia, you are now taking into your care and keeping the happiness of the person whom you wish to spend your life with. You are both agreeing to share your strengths, experiences, responsibilities, but most of all, your love for one another, not only for today, but for all of your tomorrows. And you are now going to say the words that will legally unite you in marriage. And these words constitute a formal and a public pledge of your love and your dedication to one another. And although you are repeating the words after me, they are your words. So if you please turn to and Simon, if you would like to go first, then say your contracting words to your beautiful bride. I, Simon John Withers,
I, Simon John Withers,
take you, Tanyia Condamiti,
take you from Tanyia Condamiti
to be my wedded wife.
to be my wedded wife.
I promise
I promise
to love and cherish you,
to love and cherish you,
to comfort and care for you,
to comfort and care for you,
to support and encourage you,
support and encourage you,
and to be loyal and faithful to you always.
and to be loyal and faithful to you always.
I make these promises to you
I make these promises to you
for the rest of our lives together.
for the rest of our lives together.
And Tanya, if you would like to say your contracting words to you. I, Tanya Condamiti,
I, Tanya Fontamiti,
take you, Simon John Withers,
take you, Simon John Withers,
to be my wedded husband.
to be my wedded husband.
I promise
I promise
to love and to cherish
to
you,
love and to cherish you,
to comfort and care for you,
to comfort and care for you,
to support and encourage you,
to support and encourage you,
and to be loyal and faithful to you always.
and to be loyal and faithful to you always.
I make these promises to you
I make these promises to you
for the rest of our lives
for
together.
the rest of our lives together.
If you'd all like to please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Simon and Tanya have decided to mark the making of their marriage vows with a traditional giving and receiving of rings. And the wedding ring is an unbroken circle which has no beginning and no end, and which symbolises unending and everlasting love. And these rings are an outward sign of the promises you are making to one another here this afternoon.
Mind about the wedding?
And we do have someone very special who's going to be presenting the rings for us today, and that's our best man, Daniel. So I'd like to invite Daniel to please come forward and present first of all to Simon the ring which he has for Tanya.
Wrong one. Tanya, sorry.
You'd like to take
That was
the
so
ring?
slick.
And place it on the third finger of Tanya's left hand. And if you'd like to keep hold of the ring in Tanya's hands. Tanya, I give you this ring
Mommy.
Tanya, I give you this ring
as a token of our love
Mommy.
as a token for our love,
and as a lasting reminder
as a lasting reminder
of the promises we are making here today.
as the promises we're making here today.
This ring is given
This ring is given
with all of my love.
with all of my love.
Yo.
And Daniel, if I could
Yo.
Thank you,
Thank
darling.
you.
If I could kindly ask you to present to Tanya the ring which she has for Simon.
It's got one in there, right? Couldn't get that wrong.
And if you'd like to take the ring and place it on the third finger of Simon's left.
Yo.
And if you'd like to keep hold of the ring whilst you say it. Simon, I give you this ring
Simon, I give you this ring
as a token of our love
token of our love
and as a lasting reminder
and as a lasting reminder
of the promises we are making here today.
as the promises we are making here today.
This ring is given
This ring is given
with all of my love.
with all of my love.
Simon and Tanya, in the presence of your family and friends here with you this afternoon, do you promise to love and to care for one another, to share the difficult times as well as the happy times? And do you promise to stay together as a married couple for always?
We do. We do.
It's very positive. So Simon and Tanya, this day will form a milestone in your lives together, and may you look back on it with great happiness and many, many fond memories as the start of a new phase in your life together now begins. And we do hope that the feelings of love that you have for one another today will grow deeper and stronger throughout the years to come as you face life's joys and sorrows together, side by side. And you have both made the declarations and vows of marriage required by law here in the presence of your witnesses and your family and friends, and also in the presence of Abby and myself. And it is therefore with a very, very greatest of pleasure indeed that I am able to declare that you are now husband and wife. And you may kiss your We wish Simon and Tanya a wonderful and happy wedding day, a very long and happy and loving and fun-filled life together, which I'm sure you will have, along with your gorgeous little one, Orla. And we do wish you a very happy afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, as your celebrations continue. And in a few short moments, I'll invite you out for, I think, something sparkly and lots more photographs in the sunshine. So have a very wonderful afternoon and evening, and a very safe journey home to wherever you're travelling. But before Simon and Tanya lead out, I would like to say a very special thank you to the people who have helped out this afternoon, in particular to Tanya's father, Angelo, for accompanying his daughter, our beautiful bride. I know he's a very, very proud daddy today. Thank you very much, Angelo. And we also had Tanya's mother, Sylvia, and daughter, Orla, who were part of the wedding party. So thank you very much, ladies. A big thank you to Zoe and Daniel for witnessing the marriage and signing the register, and also to Daniel for presenting the rings for us and being the best man and looking after our groom. It's been, how many years have you known each other? Since you were 2?
Almost 40.
Yeah, I think it was about 22. I was trying to pay you a compliment.
No, thank you.
So they've known each other since Sunday school, haven't you?
Yeah.
Since they're like 2 or 3 years old, so long time friends. But once again, very many congratulations to you both, our musicians. Thank you very much. It's lovely to listen to you. And they are now going to close out, which is a song which has been specially chosen for this part of the ceremony. So if I could ask everybody to please be upstanding. Our bride and groom, Tanya and Simon.
Your mouth is a revolver, find bullets in the sky. Your love is like a soldier, loyal till you die. And I've been looking at the stars for a long, long time. I've been putting out fires all my life. Everybody wants a flame, they don't want to get burned. And today is our turn. Days like these lead to nights like this, lead to love like ours. You light the spark in my bonfire heart. People like us, we don't need that much. Just someone that starts the spark in our bonfire hearts.
Hello? It works. Evening, everyone. Everyone having a good time? Good. So we just actually had a bit of a debate between Daniel and I, and we think the groom goes first, then the best man. Hopefully, I personally wish it was the other way around, so I could adopt my speech accordingly, depending on what Daniel says, right? So first of all, I want to obviously say thank you to everybody for joining us today, and obviously sharing both Tanya and I our special moment as Mr. and Mrs. with us. So thank you. And I've only got 110 cards to go through, so make yourselves comfortable. The funny thing is, Tanya actually said, she goes, "You haven't done your speech yet, you haven't done your speech yet," for the whole week. every time I got into bed, for about half an hour to an hour, I just had this speech going round and round and round in my head. And I probably would know actually at the end of the speech would come out completely different than I did, and I could have got loads of sleep, but I didn't, right? But I had prepared, or tried to prepare. I mean, the first thing is really important is to thank you, Tanya's parents, Angelo and Sylvia, especially for raising an absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, stunning, caring, wonderful woman.
Yeah, I agree with
So interesting is obviously now I'm kind of in the family, but I have always felt I've been part of the family ever since I met them, and now I kind of have been adopted by half Irish. Hello, Eli. Eli's in from Munich. Sorry, I just had to say hello because he's looking at me. Obviously, the family's half Irish and half Italian, right? So I remember the first day I actually met Angelo and Sylvia. I went for Sunday lunch. They invited me round, and I must say I was pretty nervous. Sometimes, a lot of the time, I don't hopefully give too much nerves away, so they probably thought it was pretty relaxed. I just remember sitting there. First of all, I had, on either side, I had two big birdie brothers in Vinny and Johnny, and I'm thinking, S-H-I-T here, right? Sorry for the kids who can spell really well. I don't normally swear, I apologise, right? And I thought, oh, you know, what's going on here? I've got best behaviour. And also I remember, also, don't be stealing those, little lady, right? I also remember sitting down for dinner as well, and I haven't eaten pasta for some time because I've been on this diet of mine for the last year and a half, trying to lose a bit of weight. But I remember eating this pasta, and this pasta was brilliant. I think Sylvia or Angelo made it. It was a stunning pasta. I ended up having about 3 or 4 bowls, and that was the first lesson that I realised if you're going to go round to an Italian's house for dinner, you are going to get a lot of food, right? And then Angelo had been working, and obviously it's the first time I met Angelo. And he's been, I think he was at work, I think you were doing either Birmingham or way before that, actually, I think it was Stratford, right? And he came out of the shower and he looked like something out of Godfather, and I was like, oh my word, I am in trouble here. But it was alright, it wasn't too bad. I still haven't woken up with a horse's head yet. At the end of my speech, tomorrow morning, we're in the same hotel, I may wake up with a horse's head. Never know. So thank you to Angela and Sylvia. And also to the extended family, Johnny, Vinny, Shelley as well, little Leo, and Adele as well. Oh, hey, I've got it written down! Right? Perfect family, near perfect. We do have a situation with Vinny, he supports Chelsea for some reason. But I would like him to enjoy his football on a Thursday night in the Europa League. Right? Maybe you can go round Zoe's house as well and watch Europa League with the rest of the Chelsea fans. And Arsenal as well, sorry! As people know, I'm a Tottenham fan, so we just stick to the Champions League. And then obviously, the one thing which really touched me as well, kind of a moment of need, is when my beautiful little girl was born and we're in the hospital and it was a bit touch and go, a bit of a roller coaster ride. Tanya doesn't remember any of this because she had done so many drugs. Legal drugs, by the way. Don't comprehend any illegal drugs for the children. Do not do that, right? But yeah, and I remember that Angelo and Sylvia were there, and because I was kind of a bit of a mess at the time. So I think I said thank you at the time, but that really touched me. Thank you. I then want to kind of thank my family for my mum for bringing up such a perfect son. And my sister for annoying me for 40 years.
That's what I'm here for.
In a nice way, keeping me honest, right? And I'm really sorry for breaking your thumb and hitting you with a cricket bat. I never said sorry, but we go with that over drink. But no, love you to bits, right? And somebody who else is really special is Andy, who keeps my sister very grounded, right?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I know who was rude. But, you know, has done a lot for my family, specifically my mum and my dad as well. So thank you. Right? There's one person which, I'll try and keep it. My dad's not here today, and I miss him immensely. He did a lot for me. I think the things he did for me, probably the outcome of that, like meeting Tanyia, Lewis, how he's been brought up as brought up as a beautiful boy. The fact that I was a bit of a joker at school. Didn't really. I think my mum probably drank more gin and tonics ever. Every time she read one of my school reports, right? But yeah, he didn't really see kind of where I've got to, right? But there is a story, and kind of this leads into the next thing, is that my dad said one thing when I was about 15, 16, he said, when you find the one, don't let it go, right? And hopefully mum doesn't mind me talking about this story. So my mum and dad met a long time ago. They used to work at the department store, they worked in Bentall's, he worked at Selfridges, they met together, they both worked together. You know, they're together for years and years. And by the way, happy 43rd to Angela. And
Thank you very much.
I forgot about that, so sorry. But yeah, he said if you ever meet the one, don't let it go, because I met my mum, and then I thought I could play the town, and he went off and kind of was a bit of a player, dated loads of girls, and then realised he let the one go, and then took a year and a half to win my mum back as well. So that's one thing which has always stuck on my mind with what my dad said. No, and I've definitely found the one.
It's too late now if you have it.
Yeah. We don't have time machines yet. We get Vodafone, I work for them, we're working on it, okay? Lewis as well, mate, you can be an absolute pain in the neck. You're 17, he's a teenager. All of, oh my God, please tidy your room, right? Don't set the house alight. Don't put a can of baked beans closed into the microwave because it's going to blow it up. There's more. Well, we'll wait for the tequila to come out, right? But one thing, Lewis is now 17, and I pretty much, when he was about 1 or 2, went through a situation where I had to fight for him, right? And I'm glad I fought for him. I had him half the time. He now lives with us, and believe me, everything was worth it, mate. All right? And you're also a fun fan. And then, where's my little hooligan? Hello, gorgeous. You gonna give Daddy a kiss? Yeah, thank you. I'll absolutely love it to bits. I think, you know, it's made Tanya and I complete. We've now got our little family of 4. And she's absolutely stunningly beautiful, so thank you, gorgeous, for bringing order into the world. I also want to say thank you to friends, Danielle and Gaynor, where are they? Thank you for bringing Tanya back to one piece, because I think you organised the hen. Thank you to Julian, Daniel, and also Eli, if he's still on FaceTime. Thank you for paying that bail when I got arrested in Munich to the German police. Oh, you don't know about that, Tan, do you? You're actually listening to this? Come on. Alright, no problem. And we've got little surprises as well. Bouquets for the mothers. Can somebody pick that up? Luke, can you just take one? Also got a present for Angelo. Sipping, yeah, that's a special bottle of wine. Yeah, very special. Okay. So, lastly and most importantly is to the wife, Mrs. Withers. As Homer Simpson once said, marriage is a wonderful thing. You get to marry your best friends, and you also get to play with her boobs. Sorry. No. On a serious note, it is a bit of a love story, right? Sorry, kids, again. I'm not going to get invited to many weddings for this moving forward. So, this is really a love story, and there is a there is a person which kind of is a bit of a matchmaker in this room. Where's Andy Wright? Hello, Andy Wright. So I met Tanyia actually 18 years ago, working for a company called Disco. We were doing this web services. It was the .com boom, right? When the internet pretty much was only a few years old, right? And Andy ran the web services division. I worked for Andy. I ran his pre-sales. And then he brought this lovely lady in, Tanyia. And interesting enough, I was sitting next to Tanyia. And she walked in, first day she walked in, I was like, wow. And from that point onwards, that's when I learned the skills of instant messaging. And if you're actually in the office at the time, and you heard this tip, 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 tap, tip, 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 tap, giggle, 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 and we're actually just sitting next to each other at the time. But on that point is, I have to thank Andy for that, because you are the matchmaker. You brought us together. However, not great, because we kind of separated. We didn't really kind of commence the relationship. We didn't have a relationship. We just knew there was a connection. So 10 years went by. We didn't talk to each other. Every day of my life, I could just think of Tanyia. No, honestly, I would think of Tanyia. And embarrassing as well, because she used to work in Hounslow for Peach Personnel. I think is Cam still there? Cam's around?
Yeah, and
right.
Farmer.
And Farmer as well, the Peach crew, sorry. So I would find reasons to go to Hounslow for my lunch. Has anybody gone to Hounslow? There's not really that much of a selection for lunch, right? Because McDonald's, yeah, which I clearly don't eat, right? So, yeah, just to see if I could bump into her, I would drive 20 miles to a petrol station because I knew she was getting her petrol. It's gasoline problem, just you looked confused, right? Sorry. Well, at least they come from Texas, so I'm going to translate them now, moving forward. So I kind of literally thought of her everyday reasons because I knew she was the one. So, how did we reconnect? LinkedIn. Don't worry about that Match.com. It's all about the professional network at LinkedIn. I was looking at her profile. Now, what the biggest mistake I made was she worked in recruitment. She had more analytics about LinkedIn than you could ever wish for. Knew how much I was looking at her profile, when I was looking at her profile. So I suddenly got an email saying, Simon, you never miss a trick. So on that point onwards, we kind of, I think, what was our first date? Selfridges? Selfridges and Starbucks. Got style, right? Anyway, so kind of since that point, it's a bit of a love story. We've never looked back. We've had some fun, laughter, lots of holidays, lots of going away. With Gawler, Lewis. Where's Lewis? Sorry.
He hasn't moved.
He hasn't moved. I've moved, but no. You know, and kind of, yeah. I mean, I'm super happy. You're amazing, and I'm a very lucky man. And because I kind of knew it's the one. Where is Vincent? Vinny. So I've got a present for the bride, which you need to open quickly now.
That's mine.
That's yours. So you need to open it now, because the little story I told resonates itself into this.
That's a little present surprise.
There's a picture of me, yeah. Naked, in those little red wife ones which Dan lent me last night when we went out for dinner.
Pardon?
You need to bring it around here.
Not Julia.
You've got to bring it around here. So I thought of this, right? I saw this.
Simon, you're tangled up.
Yeah, come on, just rip it open, it's alright. It's always the Velcro.
Anybody with a pair of scissors? Anybody got a Swiss pen though?
I just checked my pocket.
Yeah, well there's no rings in there, is there?
Just spicy.
Up on all the spices.
It's like Christmas.
It's fish, yeah.
It's cyber. Is that you?
No. Right, somebody hold it up.
Right, so I told you the story about never let the one go.
You're the little fish.
The picture's called Finding the One. And there's plenty of fish in the sea,
Oh, yeah.
but I found the one. So I think it's Dan's turn now. Yeah. So, the last thing for me, if everybody could just raise their glass and raise a toast to myself and Mrs. Withers, family and friends. Thank you.
Yeah, it's brand new. Nobody is thing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the moment you've all been waiting for, and the moment I've been dreading. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Dan, and I've been good friends with Simon for almost 40 years. Simon asked me to be his best man a couple of months ago. I smiled and accepted this great honour, and then went into shock at the thought of speaking in front of 100 or so people. I've been having counselling ever since. And the counsellor told me the best thing to do, so that I'm not intimidated by you all, is to imagine you're all naked. And ladies, you look amazing. Simon and I met at infant school. We've had some great times together. We did usual things like breaking into his parents' drinks cabinet when they went out for the evening. We did things that are too inappropriate to include in the best man speech. And we did things where you just had to be there to fully appreciate them. However, I couldn't give a best man speech without telling a funny tale about Simon. I could tell you about the time he crashed his car by driving into and through a roundabout. Or I could tell you about the time he spent an afternoon in Brixton Prison. But there's one particular tale that comes to mind. Simon is passionate about two things: music and technology. At age 16, he decided to set up his own pirate radio station. Now this featured a radio antenna in his parents' back garden. Imagine a mast on a shipping vessel approximately 50 metres high to truly appreciate the monstrosity of this piece of equipment. Simon managed to broadcast his acid house to his local neighbourhood and received great kudos from his friends. However, he received many complaints from his local neighbourhood as the antenna in his parents' back garden interfered with the local TV sets, microwaves, hairdressers and other electrical appliances. Fortunately, ASBOs weren't around in those days. But life has moved on, and we have both changed. Believe it or not. Simon no longer breaks into his parents' drinks cabinet, and no longer does he terrorise his local neighbourhood. He has become a family man. I remember the first time I met Simon and Tanyia together, and I realised they were a match made in heaven. They had a great connection. I thought Tanyia was lovely. She has a wonderful smile and a great personality, and I'm sure you'll all agree, looks stunning today. As you know, they are both parents. Lewis, regardless of what Simon just said, is growing up to become a fine young man, and Orla, the latest addition to the family, is just gorgeous. Well done to you both. As Simon's best man, I would also like to acknowledge Simon's parents. Sonia, Simon's mother, is here today. Congratulations, Sonia. I know it couldn't have been easy. John, Simon's father, who is no longer with us today, but no doubt looking upon us approvingly, saying, "Good on you, old boy." Before I end this speech, I'd like to share a study that I recently came across, conducted by Harvard, into the pursuit of happiness. The project followed 700 men and women since they were teenagers in 1938. Over the years, researchers collected all kinds of medical data, from blood samples to brain scans. Every 2 years, they asked participants questions about their emotional and physical wellness. The clearest message that came from this study is this: good relationships make us happier and healthier. I'd therefore like to ask you to join me in raising a glass to Mr. and Mrs. Withers. Good relationships, happiness and health. Thank you.
You could go home now. No, sorry. No, seriously, we're going to have a party now. So, drink, be merry. Obviously, continue enjoying the day with us. Right. So pleased that all of you are here. I think we're in a couple of hours. What time is it? I don't know. We're going to have our first shuffle. So, obviously, we'll be on the dance floor. And obviously, do have fun. Thank you again for coming and sharing this special day for us. And just enjoy and get merry. Thank you.